colleges like Karnali College of Health Science, Kathmandu, Valley College of Technical Sciences, and Skims College, Kathmandu. Besides this, he is also very young and talented and is a master trainer for localization of SDG, Sustainable Development Goals certified by UNFPA. He has contributed an urban agenda on the draft for making of third Habitat Conference held in Quito, Ecuador. He had also played a role in making youth policies, advocacy on establishing Ministry of Youth and National Youth Council in Nepal. I would like to say here that it is his effort for which National Youth Council was organized, was formed in the Nepal government, and he was invited to the government for drafting this about the National Youth Council. He was also a national observer of Election Commission of Nepal and president of World Human Rights Forum Nepal chapter, and he has been honored with Best Teacher Award, APAC Award, and many other awards. And he has published so many papers. And we are thankful to have you, sir. Now it is over to Praveen Kumar Regmi, sir, to present his paper. And Dr. Silpi, ma'am, please proceed on these slides, on SAR slides, so that we'll see the slides and simultaneously we can hear Praveen. Okay, thank you. Now over to Praveen, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Am I audible to everyone?
Most welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Success Society. Thank you, everybody who are with me in this time. And I would like to, first of all, I would like to are my best wishes, or what to say that in this global pandemic, I would like to request you, everybody, for your good health and stay safe where you are and what you are doing. And this is the most precious opportunity by Sakshem Society and other relevant organization that we are doing today. And this is one kind of good platform for learning. That means e-learning for all the learners, and we too all are learners. Today, for me, being a academician, being a youth activist from Nepal, I'm going to share that role of youth on achieving sustainable development goals. Basically, this is basically scenarios of COVID-19 has disturbed all the things. Even the entire world has been disturbed by this pandemic, the effect of pandemic. And on our topic, these are the contextual topic to be learned by everyone. So today, thanking all of you and thanking Sakchem NGO, which is a pioneer NGO working for the betterment of people and overall Indian society. I would like to start my presentation, and I would like to share my ideas, views regarding the role of youth on achieving sustainable development. And I will share some exemplary actions or measures or tasks done by the Nepalese youth. And you can ask me, or you can question me. You can put your suggestion, feedbacks on message section. I will respond them. So not doing late, I would like to go through my slide. And just I would like to I would like to take this opportunity to spread the blessings of God and nature from Nepal and Lord Pashupatinath, Mount Everest. Yesterday we have celebrated Buddha Purnima, you know that very well, the light of Asia, and he was born here in Nepal. So Lord Pashupatinath, Lord Buddha, and Mount Everest, the tallest peak in the world. These are the goddess and nature of Nepal, which bless all to fight against this pandemic. So next slide. And for me, so who are youth? Then for the definition, youth are the uh, 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 persons who are filled with energy, willpower, sound, and they are productive in nature. They are the drivers of development. They are the boon for any country. They are the pathfinder of prosperity, and they are independent population. According to our constitution of Nepal, the youth is defined by age, that is 16 to 40 age. As per the country's constitution or ideas, they have marked the age group as youth, 16 to 24, 25 are allocation of the youth. For National Youth Council, as per Constitution of Nepal, 16 to 40 age groups are youth. And one thing is, in the last, that there is last line. There is I have written youth balls. Know, youth balls means we have 40, nearly 40 youth in Nepal. And I am also confident that India has also a large number of youth population. And if we can't handle this youth population, that youth population may be bomb for prosperity or ladder for prosperity. It depends on it depends on country. It depends on country ruler. It depends upon leader how they are handling the youth. Youth. If this youth population are not handled with care or handled with proper knowledge, they will be bomb for prosperity. So we have to manage. We have to educate. We have to utilize the power. We have to encourage them for good work. So here are some fact sheet of Nepalese youth population. Yeah, I'm not going through all, and you can see there, and you can have knowledge from that idea that is 2011, and for 10 years, that means coming year we are doing another census. For this, we have 40.3 youth population. So this is the youth balls time in Nepal. So Nepal can achieve progress when youth population is mobilized very well. So, but due to this pandemic, we are not utilizing youth. We are not doing good works. We are not having proper infrastructural development. All policies are failed. So in this regard, we are going to talk some possibilities and challenges, opportunities as well. So for sustainability, for sustainable development, you know that very well. The definition of sustainability, definition of sustainable. So the major pillar of sustainability are the people. That means the sustainability or sustainable thinking always responds to people, always responds to planet, always responds to prosperity, always advocates about peace, and always spread hand for partnership, global partnership. Without partnership, no any sustainable approaches are fulfilled, or no any sustainable approaches are come to true. So uh, today, in this pandemic situation, how a youth can be a change maker, how a youth can play a role for sustainability, or how a youth can help in achieving sustainable development. So here are some role of youth for sustainability or to achieve sustainable development goal. Right now, we are in critical situation. There are a lot of problems from cross-cutting issues of sustainable development goals. From goal number 1, no poverty, to goal number 17, global partnership. We are not doing properly. We are not having our knowledge and actions properly in this pandemic, because this is the critical time. We are suffering a lot. That means we most of the people are not earning money for daily life. people with low income are suffering from hunger, the health and well-being. That means goal number three is totally is under critical condition, is in coma right now. So we are not having quality education, and still there are gender biasness. We don't have proper uh, water management system. We don't have proper uh, energy system, or the overall country's economy is not working, is not performing very well. The industries are closed. The inequalities between rich, middle class, and higher class people is increasing. The cities are not performing well. These are the problems, these are the challenges, these are the critical situations by this COVID pandemic. But still we have still we have some opportunities in this regard. That means we have we have very good weather conditions, and we are cutting the global emission of carbon. We are not disturbing the wild animals. The animals around the globe are enjoying a lot, but we are suffering. In this regard, for environmental section, for environmental um, regard, the earth is working very good. The creatures are enjoying, but we are suffering. This is the thing. And what we are doing today is we are spreading partnership to fight against this global pandemic. So, being a youth can be a mobilizer. A youth can be a campaigner. A youth can be a policymaker in this regard. And how that means we Nepalese youth are working under this pandemic situation. So, especially youth in Nepal in this pandemic situation, in this critical situation, we are just departing or imparting education knowledge regarding to pandemic to the people in different languages, because Nepal is a country of various languages. Uh, in one region there is one language, like in India we have also various regions, and they speak several languages. We people, we young people, from social medias, from uh, mass communication, from papers, from articles, we are spreading knowledge regarding COVID-19, how COVID-19 get transferred, how COVID-19 can be controlled, can be minimized, how can we be safe. We are doing, or we are imparting education regarding this pandemic situation. That means we are in action. We youth in Nepal are doing such kind of activities that really reflect the mechanism to uh, to combat this pandemic situation. And for this, the goal number three, that means health and well-being can be achieved. That means we can protect at least some people. And we are sharing the ideas of hand washing. That means wash. How can we do wash? So wash can be uh, demonstrated by through different medias. So we are doing that. We are in awareness building. We are raising awareness to village and village, and we are also providing some of the relief materials to the affected population, so that the poor people can save life by having a single hand of food. That means they can have food and they can save life. That is also one thing. And in this pandemic situation, no policies, no rules are properly working. This is the critical situation. The law, the constitution are one thing, and in this situation, we are requesting the policymakers, we are requesting the leaders that please make safe environment, please make safe uh, shape bonds, please make safe things for the people. They are striving, they are suffering from the COVID-19 effects. We are doing that. And we are also doing voluntarism. That means youth in Nepal are doing voluntarism for the sake of the people, for the sake of the nature. And one thing is there, and in many areas of Nepal, there are a lot of uh, animals that are being affected. They are not getting food, and people and from youth, we youth people go there and serve those animals too. Even and in this situation, industries are closed down. No physical assets are working, but we people, we youth, are working on IT system. That means that means most of the youth, like Mans Khan, one of my friend, is working for the free distribution of food. Just he take order from the IT, that means information technology, and being safe, uh, uh, he distributed foods. He distribute foods daily for the low income people. And this is the time of disaster. And we young people, saving ourselves, we save the life of other people. We have to build the capacity of the people from uh, capacity. We are helping the other people. That means who are illiterate, who do not have any idea regarding this situation. We are developing their capacity. We are doing psychosocial counseling, and we are motivating them regarding don't be upset. This is the global pandemic. We are not suffering. The world is suffering. So don't be panic in this situation. Let's make it constructive. We are raising awareness like this way. And so, and youth in partnership. We are doing partnership for among the different provinces, different municipal council, different village council. So we are doing a lot of things for this pandemic. Still for data, still for while talking about the data in Nepal, the total number of cases, confirmed cases, total number of confirmed cases are just 101. For till today, there are confirmed cases 101, 101, and for these 101 confirmed cases, 16 people already get cured and they are back to home. And but still we have vulnerable to we are in vulnerable we are vulnerable to this pandemic. So we have we young people are trying. We young people are generating more ideas regarding how to inform the people, how to create awareness, how to knock the door of administration, how to knock the door of political leaders. So we are doing like this. And like this way, this is the critical time that we are suffering, that we are facing. The global people are facing this critical situation, and these are the major effect. These are the major effect from this pandemic towards the sustainability, towards the sustainable development goals. While talking about the effect of COVID-19 on sustainable development goal. So the sustainable agendas that have been set by United Nations for all these member countries, that is 193 countries, they are the milestone for prosperity. They are the milestone for stepping stone for mankind. But due to this global pandemic, due to this pandemic, they are they are not performing well. We are not doing those things properly. So our role, we young people, we have to advocacy, we have to do some work. At least we should be engaged. We should be engaged on getting these goals. At least no people should no people should die without getting food. No people should no people should get suffered from the disease, and they have to get the proper treatment. No people should be voiceless. No people should be deprived of getting wages, salary. So we are working on it. We are working it. Technology, the main weapon for this fight. Technology. We are working. We are working with the help of technology, and there are the people who are standing in front line. There are health workers and security personnel. Just we are collaborating with them, and we are informing the people. We are just approaching something or doing something for the life of all people who are living in our area, in our region, in our country. So, similar to us, similar to Nepal, there are a lot of things that are possible in India, and they are doing so. Hopefully, you people are also doing so. And while talking about the role of youth, I have already mentioned some of the roles, and there are a lot of roles in slide. And here in slide, there you can see that youth as a policymaker. So local level, we have local level, province level, and central level. You have also same infrastructure in your country, and we are approaching to those leaders to fight against this pandemic, and we are making them informed about the effect of pandemic on SDGs, effect of pandemic on people. So this is the thing, and the community involvement in advocacy. So this webinar, and for another thing, we are also doing here in Nepal. So this is the thing, and volunteerism. So volunteerism is one of the major tasks that is needed in today's time. So we can volunteer for any kind of work, any kind of work. Like we can go for a free distribution of relief materials. We can collect some food and distribute to low income people. That would be the thing. So these are the ideas. So entrepreneurship. So the area, this entrepreneurship and industry area is totally stopped by pandemic, but still we have opportunities. We can do some IT based industries right now. We can stop people from the internet and technology ideas. That is one of the thing. So a disaster situation, about disaster situation, we can have some people that is scout, Red Cross society, and many other things, many other ideas, youth clubs. We have youth groups so that we can solve the support the people who are in problem. That's the thing. And so in this time, no one is caring about the no one is caring about that rubbish. That means waste management. So being safe ourselves, we can manage our waste in our local area by doing our innovative activities, by collaborating with youth club, by collaborating with police personnel. That is the thing. And so technology, I have already talked about technology. So in these ideas, so these are the roles of youth that can be done during this pandemic situation to combat or to get some relief from this pandemic. So we young people should define ourselves. What can I do? What can I can do? So we should define ourselves, and we can define ourselves, and let's begin from today and give some contribution to the global community, give some contribution to your community, to your area where you are living. That will be the thing. So being responsible youth, let's start from today. Our long journey of sustainable development. We are not failing, we are rising. Today we are suffering. Tomorrow we'll be in form and we'll do something for the nature and we'll do something for the global community. So in this time, stay at your home, stay safe, and learn more from authentic sources, and don't use social media as a bomb. Please use social media responsibly. Please use social media uh, being responsible. So being a responsible citizen, being a responsible young people, being a responsible academician, we have to be responsible in this time. And we ourselves, we should not be panic, and motivate others not to be panic, and enjoy your quality time with your family. This is an opportunity. And enjoy what you have. Don't be panic. And just I have gone through some ideas, some roles, and some effects on social goal, environmental goal, and economical goal. So talking about three types of goals that are for social goals. The social factor is totally affected, and we have to take care of these social goals. And environmental goals and economical goals. So economical goals are totally disturbed. So being a responsible young people, we have to do something at least. But there are we are they are disturbing two goals, two types of goals, that is social and economical. But still we have opportunity for environmental goals. That means our environment is uh, that means our environment is getting more improvising day by day, because the wild animals are enjoying, that there are the news, the cities are with leopard, and the birds, new species of birds are found in your garden. So these are the things. So everything what is going on, that is very good. So in this time, I have shared some things. You can go through my slide also. If you have any confusion, or if you have any settings regarding that, please email me, text me. I would be more thankful for your feedbacks and suggestions. Thank you so much for listening me. Thank you so much, Sakshem Society. Thank you so much, Silpi ma'am. Thank you so much, Sarada sir, and thank you so much, everybody. And I would like to request you pray for your safe and productive and a good day, good stay over there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Praveen, for your nice lecture. It was very, very informative, and we especially learned a lot. And this is an eye opener for all the youths who are watching it. So it gives them an idea how to forward. They can not only set their own goals for the the sustainable growth for the nation, but they can achieve their own life goals also using tricks and techniques what we talked about. So, Dr. Praveen, before taking any other question from any other, I myself have a question that I would like to ask. So,
Okay, sir.
in the to start with, let us say, for example, we are the youth, those who have been working in the industrial manufacturing, and now
Yes, sir.
because most of the manufacturing units they have been stopped because of this global pandemic. So, what do you think is an option for them, or what should they do?
First of
Yes,
all,
actually, the thing is that especially the people
the
in
the
India. I need to
Okay.
be more clarity. So especially the people in India, sir, because we are having a lot
Especially
of Muslim imports. So most of the youth they are wasting their time playing games, doing something for the
yeah.
leisure. So what would you suggest?
Thank you so much, sir, for this question. And this is very important question in this time. And from my view and from my idea, so in manufacturing area, that means where the workers are suffering from this global pandemic, we can have some good things for them. That means the owner of the manufacturing company and the government should join their hand and do partnership. 50% expenses should be done by the manufacturing company, and 50% incentives or 50% uh, some amount or relief materials should be provided by the local government or central or federal. Any kind of government can contribute to that thing, so that the people or workers working in the manufacturing section of anywhere in Nepal or India, they can at least survive their lives. At least they can at least grow their family. So this is the thing, or this is the idea. That means in today's time, government cannot do alone, and the private sector or manufacturing industrial sector cannot do themselves or in alone way. So government and private organization or manufacturing company should have good partnership in this time. And I would like to request young people. I would like to request young people, by being safe, by using internet, by using information technology, that means IT, they can raise voice to the responsible organization, and they can give accurate information regarding the sufferings of people of industrial area or manufacturing area to the government and manufacturing owner should join hand to save the lives of worker, because without worker no prosperity, without worker no sustainable development, without worker no any kind of achievements till date. So workers are the god. So in this pandemic time, government, young people should pressurize the government, and government should join hand with private sector, and they jointly take care of those workers. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So, any other questions from the participants also?
Okay, sir.
Those whoever wants to ask a question, they have to mute their mic. Because already, I suppose everybody's mics are muted. So please unmute your mics and then speak. Because I can see some of the people trying to ask questions, but their voice is.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
sir, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, one question are there.
Okay.
Sir, for the youth, for the how we can motivated in the go in this goal. Most of the youth are inactive and money minded. How can how can money minded youth? Mostly youth are going brain student and go to this work, this work. Very very less youth involved in this work. Go to the other field and other destructive mind. So how to motivate?
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for your good question. So, per my last 10 years of experiences, I'm involving in this activism. I have learned some amazing examples over here.
Uh,
So, for this,
maximum students, maximum
for this, young people are destructive rather than constructive. This is the global the people, the guardian are blaming youth, but the fact is that the young people wants to do something good for the society, for something different for the society. So the guardian and
How? Society is
the guardian should know their thinkings. Guardians should take their thinkings in consideration. That means we have to motivate by understanding them. And I'm talking that understanding them, that may be theoretical, but in practical ideas. So let's be friends to young people. We should not be father, mother, brother. Let's start be friends to them, and we can share our ideas to them, and we can listen to them by being friends. So we are in South Asian society. We have the feeling of father. We have the feeling of mother. We have the feeling of elder brother. We have the feeling of this type of relations. That means this type of relations. But still, we have relations. But we must be friends first of all. So being friend, one friend can understand the another friend. So that may be the
Okay.
good
Okay.
idea. My thinking is that uh, we have to we have to be friends for young people, not only the father, mother, superior brother, elder brother. That is one thing. So better than that, we must be friends of our young people. That may be the idea, and that may be the motivation.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you
So,
so much.
hello, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir. I am Dr. B.S. Kamble speaking. Hi, sir.
Nice,
Sir,
nice,
you
nice to
have
meet
explained
you.
very excellent. Yeah, sir. Yeah, yeah. But my question is that youth, youths are playing very important role. They are evergreen in the economic development, social and political development. Okay, it is clear. Then, with context
Yeah,
to present issue, COVID-19. Okay, they are also playing
yeah,
very important role. In your state, they
yeah,
are contributing. I mean, 43. In our state, in our country, 63 population is young youths. Okay, we have a national dividend. But my question is that
yeah.
what is the role of COVID-19 and post COVID-19 period? How they are contributing because they are very asset of the economy, asset of the country. Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
That how you can predict or how you can say the safety measure towards this contact with reference to the youth of our country as well as your country also. No problems. Thank you.
Yeah. So first of all, let's define youth in that means in wide arena. That means the young
Yeah, yeah,
people, the young soldier, young police personnel are working in front line. They are youths. They are
yeah,
doing
yeah,
their jobs. Yeah, youth means not only the people who are going to college and coming home back to the parents
yeah,
and asking for money. They're not only youth. So youth has
yeah.
a wide meaning. Means police personnel working, the doctor, nurses. Yeah, they are
Everybody.
also youth. They are working with they are working in front line and saving the global people. So this is the
Yeah, they
thing.
are called
And
warriors. Yeah,
yeah, warrior. As per your concern, how the youth in India or in Nepal, they can be mobilized by having safety idea. That means safety
yes,
measures
exactly.
in this global pandemic. So we can
Yeah, yeah.
use technology, sir. In this time,
Okay.
so one of my friend started online grocery. You know that very well,
Yeah,
online
yeah,
grocery. Yeah,
yeah.
before pandemic, he is not doing nothing. That means he is just asking money from the parents, but with his motivation. He is BIT student.
Yeah.
I know him very well, and he started online grocery, and with safety measures, he go to farmhouse, and he has taken permission from the local government. Within
Very good.
community, he is supplying grocery. So this is the
Yes.
simple idea how young people can serve with safety measure. So information technology can be the weapon, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Welcome.
Questions on messages as well. So, there's one message from Anamika Tiwari. She asked about what about the government support for proper implementation of key initiatives taken by youth of Nepal or any other country?
Uh, mm, uh,
In support from the government for any initiative taken by the government. For example, I can
support
yes,
support from government to youth.
correct, sir.
Okay, in this time, the government is trying to make good things, and we are supporting the government in any cost. By forgetting all the things behind the curtain, we are just blindly supporting the government to fight against COVID-19. So the government must be responsible, must be transparent, must be accountable. This is the things. And from government, in this time from government, we are not expecting more. We are only expecting for good health and well-being. For good health and well-being, we are expecting medical treatment. We are expecting relief materials to the poor people. We are expecting some foods for poorest people, some foods for workers who are not getting salaries and wages till now. So in this time, we young people should not expect any kind of developmental or infrastructural work. We should not expect any job opportunity. We should not expect any kind of necessary things that are in normal situation, but we are expecting medical care. We are expecting relief materials. So young people should expect these basic and crucial things and support government in their ideas, in their roles, in their rules. So let's obey the government, let's follow the government, let's support the government, forgetting all the things behind the curtain.
Add to Dr. Praveen, I would also suggest that yes, we should leave aside our, we can say, ambitions, or we can say the lust or the greed behind. And we should think as a society, we should think how we can do for the betterment of the society, and yes, how can we
Yeah.
emerge out of this situation as soon as possible. This is what something I would like to add.
Yes, that is
Dr.
that is
Praveen,
true,
do you
sir.
agree with me?
Yeah. You are
So,
totally right, sir. What I am telling is that, sir.
So, Dr. Praveen, next question is specifically for Nepal. So,
Yes.
the question has been asked by a user named A. So, I don't know what the remaining name is. So, the question is, how is the youth going to help the tourism sector of Nepal after the pandemic? So this is particularly about the tourism sector because I suppose around 30 to 40% of the GDP of Nepal depends upon tourism.
Yes, sir. Tourism is one of our major source of income in our country, Nepal. And this is if the pandemic, if that this pandemic wasn't here or wasn't yeah, break out, we are celebrating Visit Nepal 2020. That means we are welcoming all of the people from the globe and enjoying with them. So we have a lot of religious diversity, natural diversity, and all the things we are getting from is tourism. Uh, we have a lot of opportunities for tourism. So we young people already have we have already done a lot of plannings, a lot of make a lot of ideas to set up tourism industry as a tool for sustainable development. We have planned, we have opened, we have done everything, but beside that preparation, अथवा are uh, forgetting those preparations. Right now, after this pandemic is over, the young people will reunite it. The young people will renovate all the things that have been set for tourism, and will start doing, yeah, we'll start promoting tourism. We'll start exploring the Nepal uh, uh, throughout the world, and we will be reconstructing. We will be revitalizing the tourism sector with our joint effort, and our they will be totally engaged in working for the tourism, and hopefully our tourism industry will grow very soon, and we will invite you all, people from India and many more, and will enjoy here by going uh, Lumbini, by sitting in the lap of Mount Everest. That will be our fortune.
Thank you, Dr. Praveen, for the invitation. I will be visiting Pokhara and Kathmandu very soon. And
Yeah.
the next question is from Mr. Viswajit Mohapatra, and he's asking, what is your feeling towards the youth group of India? Or let me reframe the question. What does the youth of Nepal thinks about the youth of India? Because there have been instances because where we find out that yes, the cohesion that we used to have in previous days or in previous generations, that cohesion is some way not up to that mark. So, what are your comments about it?
Relation between the youth of Nepal and youth of India. We are in SARC SARC country. We are among the SARC country, and the young people from India visit here, and we young people go to India and visit there. And the most of the Indian youth and Nepalese youth have similar mind setup, and we have similar social and other aspects of thinking, thoughts, and beliefs. And we young people from India and Nepal
During
are
COVID, how many interactions are there? Excuse me, during
yeah.
COVID-19, how many interactions are there?
How many interactions?
Yes, yes. You were telling that there are exchanges, international exchanges. But during COVID-19, how
No,
many
oh,
international exchanges are there?
no, for during this I am talking about the past days, but in this COVID-19
Yes.
situation, the exchanges are not in physical way; they are in just virtual way. That means I am communicating with you people, and you are communicating with us, and our mindset is similar, and we are laborious too. We South Asian people, especially Indian and Nepalese people, we are laborious, and we want to make our fortune and career by doing hard work. So whatever the things, the young people from India and the young people from Nepal, I have gone through some news that Indian young people, they are helping the Nepalese worker. They have been stocked in various parts of India, because Nepalese young people go to job or some opportunity for India in various states of India, and the young people from India are serving the young youth club are serving those Nepalese people in this pandemic time. They are serving. That they are making. They are busy on distributing some foods, some relief materials, and the another aspect is the young people from India, various parts of Bihar and UP and other states come to Nepal for technical or some labor force here in Nepal. Yes, so we are also helping them. We are also just making shelter for them. And as per the government G2G, that means government to government dialogue that they have done in country wise, that is bilateral relation, that is big thing. We cannot talk about the bilateral relationship between government and government. We have no any direct relationship with the government and government. So, but in our level, in local level, young people from Nepal are helping the Indian young people who are stuck here in Nepal, and Indian young people are helping the Nepalese young people who are stuck over there for work. And this is the matter of humanitarian, and this is the ideas that we are doing, that Indian people are doing. We have same mindset. We are helpful. We are kind, and we do that like.
Next question is from Kalpana Singh, and she is asking that guardian of mother more clearly, women are bearing the core burden of yet. So, the thought of eco-feminist framework. What are your comments about giving a thought about the eco-feminist framework, where the guardian or means more predominantly the mother, she takes care of the children and creates a youth. Because what happens is usually we see in South Asian countries, whether it be India, whether it be Nepal, whether it be Bangladesh, whether it be Pakistan. So each and every part of the at least SAARC nations, I can say that the male members, they are going out for the work, and whenever they return, either they are returning late at night or they are going out of the house for continuous so many days or is it months. So what happens is the wife or the lady at the house, she is the only person who has to bring up the child, who has to provide education to the child, who has to raise the child, and who has to work, act as a father as well as a mother for the child. So, what are your comments about having a eco-feminist framework?
Yeah, thank you for this concern, dear Kalpana ma'am. And for this, the time has been changed, because we South Asian people, especially we people from South Asia, we are behind the major development stream, our main developmental stream, due to social inequality. That is one of the thing that we are lacking behind, that we are behind, or we are behind in other countries in the in the developmental works, in the development. And so there is in goal number 5, there is gender equality, and there is goal number 10, there is minimizing inequality. So this goal number 5 and goal number 10 is for us. That means we South Asian people are doing this discrimination on the basis of sex, caste, and race. So for this concern, I would like to give examples from Nepal. But in numbers, mindset, thinking, beliefs, that is the major thing that is suffering us. But in numbers, right now we have our right honorable president. She is female, and we have right now, formerly she was the speaker of the parliament, and we have chief justice female. So this time in Senate or parliament, we have almost 44 percentage of the more than 40 percentage of the female parliamentary members, members. And another thing is, in local level election, we have allocated, that means either mayor or deputy mayor should be female. That is one of our obligation in local level election. Our government has said either mayor should be female, or if male is mayor, then female should be deputy mayor. This is our one provision that helps to raise the voice. And in our country, we are spreading, we are giving opportunities, we are making something better than yesterday. But in case of mindset, still there are some problems. Still there are some what to say, that inequalities. With the help of young ideas, with the help of young thinkings, with the help of education, with the help of educated thinking, start from your own home. Start from your own home. I have 4 members in my family. I have father, mother, sister, and me myself. But so me myself should start from my family for this concern. My mother should go office, and she can have tour 2 to 3 days, no worries, as like father. And my sister can go for another country for seminar conferences. So no worries. So start from your own home and change your mindset. Make the family's mindset changed. Then start from your community. One day we'll have that good day. Thank you.
Shilpi Ahuja has suggestions. So she is sharing an experience that she has had along with the youth during her career of teaching. She suggests that we need to formulate a modus operandi to channelize energy of the youth in the right direction. This is something that we agree,
Yeah, exactly.
and for that we need to have put in some type of framework, that something that exists in the European countries but is missing among the South Asian nations right now. So this is something that we need to implement, and but the problem is with the European countries, they have very little burden of the population, but in our countries we are having
Yeah.
burden of the population. So that frameworks are bound to collapse. So there is a particular user in the name Ted. So they have also hidden their name, so I can tell what the name is. So they have one question, and the question is, how do we encourage the youth to take steps to be more productive? And how do you convince them?
Uh, sir, can you please repeat the scenario?
Yeah, hello. I would like to just speak. This is Monisha here, and I have asked the questions. My computer is going by the name of Dell, and that's why I'm not been seen there.
Okay.
Yeah. So hi, Praveen. It's really nice to hear from you. Well, I have two
Hello.
questions. One is, of course, what Sir just now spoke about. To how do we convince the youth to be more productive? I do work with
Yeah.
young adults in this area, and I would really like to know how is it that we convince them to be more productive? Because as you rightly said, that some of them are more destructive than being productive. So if you could just throw some light on that, and then I'll ask you my next question.
Okay. First of all, I have already mentioned that the major motivation is listen others. That means listen to young people. I have already mentioned that. Don't be so-called parents. Don't be so-called father. Don't be so-called mother. Don't be so-called don't talk about relations. First of all, be friends of your young people. That would be the major motivation I have experienced till date. If you have some attitude with new people, if you have attitude with some new people, you cannot get information from that new people. But when you have a loyal behavior, when you have a friendly nature, then you can grab some information from that new people. So this is the main principle, that guardians or elder ones should grab their understanding, grab their thinkings, and grab their interest from the young people, and there is no any hard and fast to motivate like paracetamol or whatever. So, but instead, we can be friends first of all. So, we are parents, we are brother, sister, father, mother. That is one thing. So, forgetting all these things. So, first of all, we must be friend to young people. We must listen to them. We must listen to their interest, and at least we can be a motivator, at least we can be a pathfinder, at least we can be their real experience, real interest sharing person. Then only that is possible.
So my next, yeah. So I just ask you one more question, Praveen. Well,
Thank
the
you.
next question was today, if we have a look at the kind of cinema that the youth are exposed to, there's a lot of fantasy and there's a lot of things that have been left to their imagination. Even for that matter, the internet, and that's the reason why I put up, about cyber ethics, which is something that I personally look into and I personally talk to the youth about. Now, as I said, there's a lot that goes into the head before it goes into the bed. That's what they say. So, having talked about that, how do in a broader sense, uh, ask the youth to differentiate between what is fact and what is fantasy?
uh, thank you for your good question and good concern. So for this, a young people or youth has two paths. One is constructive and another is destructive. Already I have mentioned that. So our young people, our young people or youth have a lot of dishes around him. A lot of dishes. That means internet, social, that means evil practices, good practices, productive nature, helpful nature, social service, career planning, everything around him. So he has a lot of options. He has a lot of options. In this crucial time, that means with all these options, how a young people can grab or catch a good option, that is up to family. That is up to parents, guardian, and community. With your mature community, with your well managed community, that means when a community cohesion, when a community understanding is good, when a family understanding is good, he can pick good things from the bucket of bucket of mixing of all the things, good things, bad things, not bad things, very bad things. There are all the mixers or opportunities or every dishes around him. So first of all, the family should be friendly to him, community should be supportive to him. So imagine yourself, and I could also imagine myself. When we are in teen, we want to say something. We want to say something about ourselves. But unfortunately, we are able sometime and we are not able sometime. When we are able to share our feelings, our interest, our hobby interest, what we want to do, that time we are constructive. That time we go for constructive works. But when we are not satisfied by our family, when we are not satisfied by our community thoughts, community thinkings, then our mindset goes destructive. Though we do not have committed any kind of destructive works, but our mindset go for destructive. So this is the thing. So, what is fact and what is fantasy? So, young people cannot decide himself. He alone, he alone is nothing. A young people has creative mind. A young people has fertile mind. The community, the family, the surrounding should plant a good thing on young people. In my one belief, one thinking, the fact thing, the true thing, the good thing a young people can pick is up to the community, family, and other things.
Thank you, Praveen. That was a fantastic question, especially looking at the community. Yes, I feel community and the family is extremely important in this. Thank you so much for answering that question. Thank you.
Thank you so
Uh,
much. Keep on connecting.
Hello, audiences. I have something to add to what Dr. Praveen answered. So, the Indian tradition we used to have in the earlier days. So, according to the Vedas, it was determined that during the first 10 hours, first 10 years of a child's development, a parent should act like a parent. And from the 11th year to the 20th year of the child's development, a parent should act like a friend.
Yes.
And from the 21st year onwards, a parent should always act with the child like a colleague. So
Yes.
this is
That is true.
something that will wipe out the differences that or the frustrations or the fear that the child might be having in sharing some of the experiences or maybe some of the critical thoughts that he might be having with the parents, because the child obviously spends most of the time with the parents apart from the friends at the school or the college. So this is the answer to the means addition to the first question, first answer that Mr. Praveen gave. So answering to the second question that whose role is to or about the cinema, we can say. Actually, the thing is that what I personally recommend is that whenever our children are going to watch a particular movie, the parents should clearly have an idea, or the parents should decide which movie to watch and which movie not to watch. And even if any child is having any apprehensions or anything that the child saw in a particular movie, maybe a science fiction movie, and child tries to act, because if these things do happen, they start happening from the childhood days itself. So it is the parents' moral responsibility to inform the child that, see, child, see, my dear son, see, my dear daughter, whatever you are watching in a movie is just a story which has been scripted. And what happens in life is entirely different. So this thing needs to be fed into the children's mind or the child's mind or the youth's mind right from the day they start maturing. That means
Yeah.
by the age of 5 itself. This is what I needed, means I wanted to add.
Yeah. Exactly that is.
Thank you, Dr. Praveen. And for the next part of the session, I would now invite Dr. Jyotsna Jain for her presentation. So I'm handing over the mic to Dr. Jyotsna. Over to Jyotsna.
Thank you so much.
So she will be
Thank you.
speaking on role of biodiversity on sustainability and the effect of COVID-19.
Good afternoon, all of you. This is Dr. Jyotsna Jain. And first of all, I would like to welcome you all on behalf of Saksham Society and in this webinar, international webinar. And I would like to thank Saksham Society, Dr. Shilpi Chauhan, Dr. Rajendra ji, Dr. Sharada Mohapatra, our distinguished guest, Dr. Praveen Kumar ji, and Utkarsh ji, and all the distinguished persons who are here right now attending this webinar. Since this webinar is based on the sustainability development goals, which are also known as SDGs, let me just start the talk with a very brief idea on what is SDG and what are the goals which are actually involved in the SDG. So I think we all know about 2030 agenda for sustainable development member states in 2015, which provided a very shared blueprint for the peace and prosperity of the people and the planet, and now and also in the future. So, probably to make this earth, make this planet a better place to live for people, for the peace and prosperity, 17 sustainable development goals were set up, and it was envisaged that these were an urgent call for action by all the countries, whether they were developed countries or they were developing countries, and it was considered to be done under a very important global partnership. So let me just jot down the SDGs जो 17 SDGs जो बनाए गए हैं. So first of all, let me just quickly number the SDGs. There is no slide of that, but I would just like to convey this so that we all know what are we talking about. So SDG number 1 is about no poverty. There should absolutely be no poverty. Then SDG number 2 is for zero hunger. That means food for everyone. SDG 3 is for good health and well-being. Fourth is for quality education. Fifth is for gender equality. Sixth is for clean water and sanitation. Seventh is for affordable and clean energy. Eighth for decent work and economic growth. Nine is for industry, innovation, and all the infrastructures. 10 is for reduced inequalities. 11 is for sustainable cities and communities. 12 for responsible consumption production. 13 for climate action. 14 for life below water, that is life which is in sea, oceans, rivers, lakes, etc. 15 is for life on land. 16 for peace, justice, and strong institutions. And 17th goal is for the partnership for the goal. So 17
Please
goal is
scroll
not
it down.
exactly, yes.
No slides. This is the fast page only. No slides are there.
No. This is, I mean, the topic is different. So just to note down the goals, but I will be talking about
Okay.
the sustainable development goal number 15. So
Yeah. The
let
different
me
goals
tell
are
you
there,
that,
and yeah.
yeah. So let me start with the SDG 15, which is actually life on land, and which actually is based on all the flora and fauna which is present on the land. So let me start my presentation with this beautiful picture saying that the species of plants and animals across the globe today are disappearing at alarming rates. And if not halted, then this loss could amount to a sixth mass global extinction in our lifetime. Next slide. Now, a great variety of genes and species on the earth means that the ecosystem is better able to carry out natural processes. And the basic natural processes which should be carried out very smoothly should be biogeochemical cycles, the population dynamics, evolution, succession. In the face of external stress, all these things should carry on. And the ecosystem will have more genes and species to help it carry out these processes. For example, there will be more species and there will be more links in the food webs. There will be more plants to help with the biogeochemical cycles, and therefore more genes will be available for the succession and evolution so that the new species are formed. Next slide. At least 40% of the world's economy and about 80% of the needs of the poor are derived from our biological resources, that is the flora and the fauna, that means the biodiversity present on this planet. In addition, the richer the diversity of life, the greater will be the opportunity for medical discoveries, for economic development, and adaptive responses to such new challenges, for example, the climate change. Next slide. Now, as envisioned by the Sustainable Development Goal 15, which I, I think one slide earlier, please, the fifth slide. The Sustainable Development Goal 15, which is also known as Life on Land, says that we must preserve the biodiversity and we must use all the ecosystems present on this earth very sustainably to ensure the survival of our own species. And during this course of time, if some of the other species lost, then there is a very major loss to any of the ecosystems, because all the ecosystems, they are linked together through the food webs and through the food chains. So according to Thomas Lovejoy, let us just find out what biodiversity exactly is. So it is, according to him, it is a collective term for the full variety of life present on the earth. Now, this variety can include the bacteria, as well as it can include the huge animals present on the earth, along with the plants, along with the water animals, uh, the animals living in forest, on lands, everywhere. Now, many of us think that it is the total number of species, but it is actually much more complex than that. It's about the genetic diversity which is present within the species also. It is the diversity of the habitats, and it is a large biological units which are also known as biomes. For example, the coniferous forest biome. So not only the forest ecosystem, but the various biomes inside, and then the different types of the plants present. So everywhere there is a very detailed amount of biological diversity. So now, if you're talking about SDG 15, which is about biodiversity, so let us try to understand that why at all is this biodiversity important? I mean, what will happen if a particular insect is not present in this ecosystem? What happens if a particular species is lost on this earth? So the biodiversity, it actually boosts ecosystem productivity, where each species, no matter how small, they have a very important role to play. For example, if there will be a large number of plant species, that means there will be greater variety of crops. Now, once the producer level is very good and diverse, definitely the herbivores will be very easily, they will flourish very easily. And once they flourish, the carnivores have absolutely no problem of the food, and so on the food chain continues. So the greater species diversity will ensure natural sustainability for actually all the life forms which are present on this planet. And a healthy ecosystem can better withstand and it can better recover from the variety of disasters, the one like we are struggling today. Next. So let me now discuss that what a healthy biodiversity can offer to us. So the ecosystem services like protection of water resources, then the soil formation and its protection, nutrient storages and recycling, pollution breakdown and absorption, then contribution to the climate stability, maintenance of all the ecosystems, recovery from unpredictable events can be few examples of a healthy biodiversity which the ecosystems provide us. Now, the biological resources, they are also provided from a healthy biodiversity, and they can give us food, very important. They can give us medicinal resources and pharmaceutical drugs. Then they can give us wood products, ornamental plants, breeding stocks, population reservoirs, future resources, and lot of diversity in the genes and species and the ecosystems. And what are the social benefits that a healthy biodiversity can offer? So definitely research is one of the very important aspect. Then education, probably we are right now in a webinar, so we are talking about biodiversity. So a healthy biodiversity, more of biodiversity will give us a lot of education. It will let us know about the various kind of flora and fauna present on the earth, and monitoring of the ecosystem becomes very diverse if we have a healthy and a diverse biodiversity. Once again, recreation and tourism, as we all know, is a very important aspect which is socially present in terms of healthy biodiversity present. Next slide. Now, to sum up the importance of biodiversity, let me tell you that, see, we have all these services for free, absolutely for free. Nature has given it to us, but the problem comes when this free commodity is lost due to human use. So the cost of replacing these, that also only if possible, would be extremely expensive. It's very easy to go and have a camp in a dense forest, but if due to human action we ruin the forest, it will be very, very difficult and expensive, and lot of money and manpower will be involved if we want to build up the forest again. So if there, it's therefore it makes economic and development sense to move towards sustainability. So what the SDG is looking forward for is we should sustain whatever biodiversity we have, and for that all the nations are working together to maintain this sustainability or to achieve this sustainability. Now, a report from Nature magazine has explained that the genetic diversity, it helps to prevent the chances of extinction in the wild. The diversities help preserve the gene pool of few very important and rare and endangered species in the wild. So we have to maintain the wild conditions so that the genetic diversity is maintained. Now, to prevent the well-known and well-documented problems of genetic defects caused by inbreeding, species, they need a variety of genes to ensure the successful survival. So to maintain the biodiversity in the labs, it is very difficult. Why? Because it involves a lot of economic, a lot of infrastructural facilities, while in wild it is very easy and it is free. So if we are able to sustain whatever the nature has given us, it becomes easy and very nice for the planet. And without the successful survival of few genes, the chances of extinction will increase, and therefore in wild we will not be able to maintain the biodiversity which is already present. Now, as we start destroying, we start reducing, and we start isolating the habitats, the chances for interaction from species with the larger gene pool, it rapidly decreases. And therefore, there comes a condition where we can lose the biodiversity on the planet. So now let me come to the Sustainable Development Goal 15. What is the motto of SDG 15? Next slide, please. So the SDG 15 says it 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 is a call for all the developed and developing countries that we have to protect, we have to restore, and we have to promote the sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems. Sustainably, we have to manage the forests, we have to combat desertification, and halt and reverse the land degradation. We have to halt as well as we have to actually reverse the land degradation, and we have to absolutely halt the biodiversity loss. So this was the motto of SDG 15, towards the life on land, which is actually for the biodiversity on the planet. Next slide. Now, let's come to the word sustainability. What is exactly sustainability? So it is the ability to maintain something over a long period of time. If we are able to sustain something, that means we have able to maintain it for a particular, considerable good amount of time. So for an ecosystem, sustainability means maintaining the ecological processes over long period of time, which is actually maintaining all the steps of the ecological pyramid very long. Sustainability, it is also an indicator of the ecosystem health. So only a healthy ecosystem can sustain. So we know that the more sustainable an ecosystem is, the healthier it is, because it is able to deal with the external stress better. So all the external calamities, the natural calamities, can be very easily dealt with an ecosystem if it is healthy. And how will a healthy ecosystem become? Definitely it will become healthy because of the variety of gene pool it will contain. So now how the ecosystem becomes sustainable? So the answer is already so clear that the ecosystem can only become sustainable if it has a lot of biodiversity. Now, the biodiversity, it contributes to the sustainability of the ecosystem. That means the more biodiversity, the more sustainable. Conversely, the lower biodiversity, there will be less sustainability, because the high biodiversity has a greater variety of genes and species in the ecosystem. Now, the more sustainable an ecosystem is, it is always better for the environment, and then definitely it is better for the people who are living in that particular ecosystem. This is why, because we need ecosystems to survive, we need nutrients, we need food, we need medicine and money to survive, and ecosystems, they provide us with all these things. So it is vice versa. If we maintain the ecosystem maintains us. So it is in everybody's best interest to increase the sustainability of the ecosystem. Now, how can we do that? So first of all, there are a lot of talks going on about recycling and reusing these days. So it is a very good way to sustain an ecosystem. The recycling, reusing, and caring for the ecosystem, that is more of afforestation and less of deforestation, taking only the surplus of the populations. See, the nature has to give us a lot, but that doesn't mean that we over exploit the nature. And if we over exploit it, then definitely someday we will have to sit like we are sitting today. Some time will come when nature will take a halt, and we have to bear the repercussions. So if we only take the surplus of fishing and hunting, and we halt the over exploitation, and we reduce the population, then it becomes very easy for us to sustain the environment. Now, let me come quickly to the four factors of sustainability. How do we sustain an ecosystem? First of all is the human being. Second is the social factor, which helps in the sustainability of any particular ecosystem. And what are the three principles of sustainability? So the three principles are economic, social, and environment. Let me put it very informally. When we talk about profit, people, and planet, see, it is very interrelated. People use the planet for their profit. But if people take lot of advantage, lot of profit from the planet, then planet can obviously take away the profit which people are earning from the planet. So it is very simple, it is very interrelated. If we stick to the three principles of sustainability in a very positive manner, then there will be absolutely no problem. So the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which was adopted by the United Nations member states in 2015, it provided a blueprint. As I had already said, that there are 17 SDGs which have been given to all the countries, whether they were developed or developing. All the countries, they have to work in a global partnership. They have to recognize that they have to end poverty, they have to end all the deprivations, and they have to carry on the strategies which will improve health, education, reduce inequality, spur the economic growth, tackle the climate change, and work to preserve over the oceans and the forests. Now, the SDG 15 actually had few agendas which we will discuss. Next slide. The SDG 15 said that by 2020, they had to ensure the conservation, restoration, and sustainable use of terrestrial and the inland freshwater ecosystems and their services. Then they had to maintain a forest area in proportion to the total land area, and they had to go on for a proportion of important sites for terrestrial and freshwater diversity covered by the protected areas. Next slide. By 2020, the agenda was also to integrate ecosystem and biodiversity values into national and local planning, development processes. So every country had to integrate all the values, and they had to convert them into planning process and for the poverty reduction strategies and accounts. They also had to mobilize and significantly increase the financial resources from all the sources to conserve and sustainably use the biodiversity and the ecosystems. Next slide, please. And they had to mobilize significant resources from all the sources and all levels to finance stability, forest management, and provide adequate incentives to the developing countries, including the conservation and the reforestation. Now we have also to look on the next slide, please. We also have to look on the agenda towards the sustainable forest management, which was a very important point in the SDG 15. It was that by 2020, They had to promote the implementation of sustainable management of all types of forests. They had to halt deforestation. They had to restore the degraded forest and substantially increase afforestation globally. And they also had to maintain a very sustainable forest management. Next slide. Now, by 2030, the agenda had to complete few things. They had, next slide. They had to combat desertification, absolutely. They had to restore the degraded land and soil, including the land affected by desertification, drought, and floods, and strive to achieve a land degradation neutral world. By 2030, the agenda had also to ensure the conservation of mountain ecosystems, including their biodiversity, to provide benefits that were essential for the development. And they also had to take urgent and significant action to reduce the degradation of natural habitats, which would also include the halt of loss of biodiversity and prevent the extinction of the threatened species. Next slide. The SDG 15 also said that they had to promote fair and equitable sharing of the benefits arising from the utilization of genetic resources. And all the international countries had to agree to it. They had to take urgent action to end poaching, which was very important, and trafficking of the protected species of flora and fauna, and address both demand and supply of the illegal wildlife products. And they had to prevent the introduction and significantly reduce the impact of invasive alien species on land, which were actually harmful for the ecosystems, and to control and eradicate the priority species. Next slide. So the overall agenda of SDG 15 was to enhance global support to combat poaching, for trafficking of protected species, and to maintain a sustainable livelihood opportunity. Next slide. Now, the sustainable use of biodiversity, how to use the biodiversity in a sustainable manner, meant to use the natural resources at a rate that the earth can renew them. We had to give time to earth to renew the resources which we were taking out from the earth. So it was a way to ensure that we meet the needs of the people, both present and future generations. And as the population increases, so does the pressure on the ecosystem also increases. So we started drawing ever more resources from them, and our ecological footprints on the planet is unsustainable. So finally, it will become unbearable unless we change the consumption patterns and our behavior in terms of ecosystem. So in the past, humans have adapted to changing conditions by increasing productivity, but now we have reached the limits of the Earth's capacity. And so there are conditions where Earth is not able to sustain itself and its natural resources. Next slide. So today, our only option which is left is to manage productivity and resources in a sustainable manner. If we do not do this, if we do not reduce the waste wherever possible, if we do not use the principles of adaptive management and take into account the traditional knowledge which contributes to the maintenance of ecosystem services, we will lose on planet. Now, there was a convention of biological diversity formed, which is known as CBD. It had certain principles which were adopted, and there were certain guidelines and set of 14 principles which actually convinced the nations to carry out the activities in particular areas very nicely. And by adopting the CBD, the governments had to commit themselves to integrate conservation and sustainable use into their policies at the national level. Next slide. But SDGs were formed, they were carried out since 2015, things were going on. But today, the streets are empty, cities are silent, factories are closed, and skies are quiet. So definitely it has something to do very nice with the environment. But why are we closed? Why are we stopped? Why are we halted? It was not our own choice. It was nature, it was earth, it was the planet who actually wanted this, because now the resources were dying. And so comes some pandemics like it has come today. which will now stop the human being on carrying out its activities for a particular time till the human brains will develop something definitely to kill this virus and we will be back. But the potential climate impact of the coronavirus related shutdown is definitely it seems to be good right now. The data from the Sentinel satellites, they show that the significant reductions in air pollution have happened and greenhouse gas emissions have gone down. And as a result, the air quality levels in world's major cities have improved dramatically in March and April. So the sustainability which we were trying to reach through human beings, actually nature itself has motivated us to do this, or we can also say that the nature has automatically done it in its own way. The air quality has improved largely because of the reduction in the factory and the road traffic emissions of carbon dioxide, NOx, O3, and particulate matter. So the effects of COVID-19 on biodiversity can be two. First of all, we can look at the global wildlife trade, which is in the spotlight. So the pandemic is thought to have originated at a market selling wild animals in China, throwing a spotlight on the global wildlife trade. And the New York-based Wildlife Conservation Society is urging governments to ban the live animal markets and to stop the illegal trafficking and poaching of wild animals. So the SDG 15, which was actually formed to do this, which human beings could not manage, is now done by the help of this COVID-19. Next slide. The second good impact which can be done is that the wildlife is running wild. Can I have the previous slide, please? The wildlife is running wild with humans who have self-isolated themselves in the homes. Animals that usually stay away from the urban areas, now they have a lot of place to roam about. In northern India, a herd of deer is caught. Somewhere we see some other wild animals which are very easily found everywhere in the environment. They have been spotted. So we can say that it is little positive for the wildlife because now there is no human interference much happening in the forest. Next slide. But looking at all the positive aspects which are which are being done here due to the COVID-19 on in perspective of the SDG 15, which was biodiversity on the earth, everything is not all positive. So let me discuss few points with you all where this COVID-19 has certain not very good effects on the biodiversity and on the environment. So, but not all the environmental consequences of the crisis have been positive. The volumes of unrecyclable waste has gone up. The severe cuts in agricultural and fishery export levels have led to the generation of large quantities of organic waste, and maintenance and monitoring of natural ecosystems has been temporarily halted due to the lockdown. And the tourism activity, of course, has also come down. Now, the local waste problems have emerged as many municipalities have suspended their recycling activities over the fears of virus propagation in the recycling centers. And the food retailers, they have resumed using plastic bags at checkout points also, which was actually a major health concern over the consumers' reuse of paper bags. Right now, no one is looking for the one-time use plastic bags. No one is even talking about that. In addition, due to the stay-at-home policy, many consumers have increased their consumption of takeaway food delivered with single-use packaging. And all these developments have created acute challenges for the waste management industry at a time when they are operating with limited capacity due to the coronavirus crisis. Next slide. So there is a need for a certain action which should be taken, and attention must be given to the threats on the environment and natural resource basis as a result of this pandemic. Many rural and coastal populations which rely on the sustainable use of local environment and the small farmers and the small enterprises who were involved in the bio trade, forestry and fishery products, they have actually become uh, out of work. And if this crisis increases, then since these people who were actually involved with the forestry, with the fishery and other bio trades, they will definitely lose their links to the national and the international demand side markets. The rural producers and many women supporting entire households, they will not be able to fully maintain their business models and the livelihoods. And if this pandemic is prolonged, then many of them will be forced to abandon the existing sustainable production, and they will go into some to generate some very quick income in domestic markets, so which will further result into poverty and over exploitation of natural resources and ecosystems. Next slide. Now, with the emergence of import restrictions in export markets and the sharp declines in the availability of cargo transportation services, the coronavirus crisis has led to the increased volumes of unshippable agricultural and fishery commodities. So there are very large stocks of agricultural and fishery commodities which are lying in the godowns and they are not being transported. And many export-oriented producers, they produce volumes far too large for the output to be absorbed in the local market. So all this organic waste level is actually increasing substantially in the ecosystem. And this waste, if it will be left to decay, we can't even imagine the levels of methane emissions, which is a greenhouse gas from these decaying produce. They will rise very sharply in the crisis. And an immediate post-crisis months, there will be a major concern about the environment. So this pandemic might have some very small short-term benefits in terms of the pollution of the environment, which could be good and nice in perspective of the SDG 15. But there are certain things which have to be taken care of. If not, then it will cause a further degradation to the environment. Can I have the last slide, please? So by minimizing biodiversity loss and by helping the local populations restore the degraded areas together, we can make this new era of environmentally sound economic development. We can help the SDG 15 to flourish, but this pandemic has kind of altered everything on this earth, on this planet. Probably it is a way by which nature is trying to breathe, nature is trying to rejuvenate. But definitely, if human beings take a lesson from today's scenario, we might be able to sustainably maintain our ecosystem and maintain the SDG 15, which was actually formed for the betterment of this planet. So on my side, presentation with a very, we can learn two things from this pandemic which has occurred. Probably if we can reduce and if we can recycle, and if we can little bit constrict our necessities and needs, probably this earth can become a better place to live. So a very much thank you to all the listeners and all the organizers. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. So you have enlightened us with knowledge of means we can say this is something that which is very inspiring to learn. So the first question that I have in my mind before I take question from any of the audience. So in this situation, currently we are in a situation of lockdown. The wildlife species, they are coming down to the cities,
Yeah.
and what happens because we are into a lockdown for over 30 days, so we can expect partial lockdown for another 30 days. So for 2 months, the wild animals, uh, they have been roaming freely on the roads. To be very frank, because I'm 5 days a week, I'm on a COVID duty. So I'm personally noticing this, that the kinds of accidents or the number of accidents that the wild animals like squirrels, rabbits, even we
Yeah.
can say jackals, hyenas, with the vehicles, they have increased very significantly. So how is it going to affect those species once the lockdown is over and the cities, they are brimming again with the traffic?
Yes, sir. So that is what I have mentioned, that it is a very short-term breathing for the earth, for planet, for the life which is present other than the human beings. I mean, it is very sad to say that we human beings have been thinking since long, like since probably 50 years or maybe some 40, 50 years, we are thinking that we are the only living being who is present on this earth. And the earth and the natural resources are just ours. So we have just not been thinking about the animals who are actually there, and we are there because of them. I mean, it is so simple. We all know about the food webs, the food links. Every small animal, even a small insect, is contributing to our presence. So this is a very short term advantage breather for the earth planet. And I'm sure that 70 to 80% of human beings will forget about this lockdown, this pandemic, all the things which occurred in these months, and probably for the first few years till the vaccine or the drug comes. And we will again come back, and we will come back uh, with probably more force and more vigor and more disaster and more destruction for the environment. Because I'm not sure, we are few people today discussing about COVID-19. We're discussing about this pandemic, about the effect on the ecosystem. But very soon, man will come back to its normal life, and they will forget about the ecosystem. I'm very clear. So this is a very short term. Tell you the breather for Mother Earth. And I'm sure after everything comes back, the roads are again active. We will we will probably not be thinking about any animals, or we will not be thinking about the other life. So this is sad, but that is the truth.
Ma'am, we have a question from Ms. Anamika Tiwari, and her question is that we are all noticing the disappearances of house sparrows. What are the initiatives that have been taken to stop this alarming situation? If anybody, and if any means actions or initiatives that are under your knowledge.
I'm sorry, are you talking about house sparrows? I'm not able to get the question
Yes,
clearly.
house sparrows, ma'am.
Yeah, see about house sparrows. Uh, there is a very different concern about house sparrows. It's not only today, but since probably if we are in some age of 40s or 50s, I mean, whosoever, like few of us would be, so we would know, we would remember the childhood which we have gone through. We had small nests of these house sparrows in our homes. Very, very frequently we could see them. So house sparrows are actually, they have degenerated, or say they have lost from the ecosystem because of the habitat issues. No one is killing the house sparrows, or it is not that their gene or their species is being degraded. The only problem is that now the houses are built in a very different manner. We don't have the central chalks which we used to have. We don't have the roshandans in the house. We don't have the open khidki. uh, we do not allow birds to enter into the room at all. I mean, which was a very common feature in earlier times.
Even madam, ventilation is not good and ACs are being used frequently.
Pardon?
Nowadays
Yeah.
ACs are being used frequently.
Yeah,
This
that's what I'm
sophisticated
saying.
life.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And very importantly, sir, if you just look at, notice that the design of the room have absolutely changed.
Yeah. That is
हमारे
congested.
घरों
Yes.
में हमारे घरों में पहले खिड़की और खिड़की के ऊपर रोशनदान हुआ करते थे, जो कि ना
Yes.
केवल इन छोटी छोटी बर्ड्स हाउस पैरो के लिए घर हुआ करते थे, बल्कि that was a very important way to keep a very ventilated and cool room. Because जो hot air है वो अंदर enter होने के बाद में it rises and it goes up. So there was a ventilation. The hot air used to go out from the Roshandan, and the new cold air used to come inside. तो घर
Yes.
automatically ठंडे रहते थे. So now we don't have any space for them. हमारे घरों में से
No
चौक खत्म
skylights
हो
are
गए
there.
हैं.
Now
हमने
skylights are being
balconies,
reduced.
Yeah, हमने balconies में भी nets
Yes.
लगाने शुरू कर दिए. We don't at all allow
Yes.
them to make a nest. So the house sparrows have to go away. I mean, find their way, and finally ये वो दिन दूर नहीं है जब when this species will be lost from this earth.
Madam, what about these eagles and these vultures, pangolin?
Eagles and vultures, see, they actually need very huge trees because they make a nest which is
And
very
also the bats.
yeah, yeah. So for bats, once again, the house, that kind of the design of the house is actually the major problem. पहले के जमाने में जो घर हुआ
Because
करते
they
थे,
very easily pick,
the
they
height of
very easily pick up the wall through their nails. You know, they capture it.
yeah, they do that, sir. But bats are very shy in nature, let me tell you. So bats actually need a very calm and quiet and high ceilings and places where there's little dark. So now, in today's environment, in the kind of design of the houses we have, there is no possibility of, and we all know that it is not like earlier times. अभी हमारे घर में यदि एक कॉकरोच भी आ जाता है, so the whole house is after that cockroach to either kill it or
Yes,
just
yes.
take it out of the house. तो अब
Yeah,
पहले
yeah.
जैसी we are not that considerate about living with the other links of the food web. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Human being is thinking that it's only he and only he who is there on the earth and only he has the right to live. So that is the mindset which is changing.
What about these vultures?
What I told you, sir, eagles and vultures, they make nests which
Yes.
are on very huge and long trees. So if we are going towards deforestation, we are definitely ruining the habitat, and so therefore we are ruining the possibility of the eggs to survive. And if there is no survival of the eggs, definitely the species has to go down. It has to get lost.
And what about the pangolin, madam? Pangolin.
Yeah, just a minute, sir.
Because these four species I find very less, even in my own
Yeah,
area. Actually,
yeah,
today
yeah,
also I was having the discussion because during Corona I never found any type of these eagles or vultures or bats
yeah.
or such type of any animals or
The pangolins are
birds.
actually, let me
Those
tell
are
you,
those
the
were usually
poaching.
found in this area earlier.
Yeah. So the poaching and trafficking is one of the major reasons for pangolins because the skin of pangolins is sold in very high, good amount. So there is lot of poaching, and the wildlife trade is one of the important reasons of pangolin destruction on this earth.
Hello. Hello,
Yeah.
good evening, ma'am. Actually,
Good
ma'am,
evening.
this is Anamika Tiwari, and my
Yeah.
question was something else, ma'am.
Yeah.
Actually, my question was we are noticing the disappearance of house sparrow. We all
Yeah.
are noticing. And what
Yeah.
are the plans, what are the initiatives have been taken till now to stop this situation? This was my question,
See.
first question, and
Yeah.
second question was my question was, ma'am, what about the polythene strict banning all over the world, because it is the
Mm-hmm.
key element in destructing our environment. That was my two
Mm-hmm.
questions, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Hi, Anamika. First of all, see about house sparrows. I think we have talked about it. House sparrow destruction is majorly to do with the habitat loss. इसका नाम ही हाउस स्पैरो है क्योंकि ये जंगल में नहीं रहती, ये घरों में ही रहती. इट इज अ वेरी सोशल एनिमल. सो इफ we do not give them space in the house, definitely it has to go, or maybe it has to die because इसके eggs जो होंगे, जो बच्चे होंगे, वो सुरक्षित नहीं रहेंगे, और due to that finally the species will be going down. तो अब इसके लिए इनिशिएटिव आजकल बहुत चल रहा है. आई मीन it's not that people are not working also for environment. Yes, they are doing it. The house sparrow, इनके लिए बहुत सारे काम हो रहे हैं, बहुत सारे इनिशिएटिव्स लिए जा रहे हैं. जैसे कि इनके घरों में देखिए हम घरों के डिजाइन तो नहीं चेंज कर सकते, बट घरों में बहुत सारे बर्ड बॉक्सेस आजकल लोग लगाते हैं। देन ये जो हाउस स्पैरो है, इसका एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट फीचर होता है कि इसको बर्ड बाथ, इसका एक बहुत ही यूजुअल फीचर है, इसको पानी चाहिए जिसमें ये स्पैरोज दे रेगुलरली गो एंड टेक बाथ। तो यदि हम अपने घरों में इसके स्पेशल डिजाइंस अवेलेबल है, नेट पर आप देख सकते हैं, बने हुए भी बहुत जगह मिलते हैं। यू कैन कॉन्टैक्ट मी पर्सनली, आई कैन लेट यू नो फ्यू पीपल हु आर एक्चुअली सेलिंग देम। तो बर्ड बॉक्सेस यदि हम लगाना शुरू करें, यदि हम पानी के चौड़े बर्तन, चाहे पुराना मटका जो टूट जाता है उसी को हम आधा करके उसमें पानी भर के रखना शुरू करें, तो डेफिनेटली इस पर काम हो सकता है। वी कैन सेव स्पैरोज। और इनिशिएटिव बहुत सारे लिए जा रहे हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल एक सेव आवर स्पैरो एसओएस करके प्रोजेक्ट भी लॉन्च है, और उन प्रोजेक्ट्स में बहुत सारे बर्ड फीडर्स प्रोवाइड किए जाते हैं। किस तरह हम उनको अपने घर में अट्रैक्ट कर सकते हैं, इसके बहुत सारे तरीके हैं। तो यदि आप बर्ड फीडर्स लगाएं, यदि आप बर्ड बाथ्स बनाएं, यदि आप उनके बर्ड बॉक्सेस बनाएं, तो डेफिनेटली स्पैरोज आपके घर में भी आने लगेंगी। बट बात इतनी है कि हमें उनको आने के लिए हमें उनको जगह देनी पड़ेगी अपने घर में, और कुछ दाना पानी देना पड़ेगा, एंड वेरी वेरी सून वी कैन एक्सपेक्ट दैट। सो वन क्वेश्चन, Anamika. And the second question was, जो single use plastic है, definitely it is a curse for nature, for earth, let me tell you. One day probably हमारे पास रहने के लिए जगह नहीं होगी, चलने के लिए जगह नहीं होगी, हमारे हमारे चारों तरफ प्लास्टिक के पहाड़ होंगे, and this is a very threatening condition. I personally don't use single use plastic. I always try to carry a bag with me whenever I am going to take anything, which is very important. यदि कोई सब्जी वाला मुझे थैली देना भी चाहता है तो मैं उसको मना करती हूँ, and then he would ask me, he would look at me and say कि सब तो लेते हैं, why aren't you taking? So see, this is, the governments cannot do this. Let me tell you, there are so many things which are politically involved. Probably it is only we, the people, who can take the initiative and work for it. यदि हम अपने आप से कोई चीज लेंगे ही नहीं, तो सामने वाला हमें देगा क्यों? थैली खरीदने के लिए भी बहुत सारे इनिशिएटिव्स हैं जो कि लिए जा रहे हैं। यदि हम देखिए, चूंकि थैली का पैसा कोई आपसे लेता नहीं है, so if it is for free, so if we stop taking it, probably people will stop selling it also. So one use plastic मेरे हिसाब से किसी भी एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट को जानना चाहिए, बल्कि हर लेमैन को जानना चाहिए कि ये डिग्रेड नहीं होंगे तो ये जाएंगे कहाँ। एक बार यदि हम ये सोचें कि हमने एक दिन में यदि 5 प्लास्टिक का थैली हमने हमने एक अकेले जने ने यूज करी, तो आप ये सोचिए कि फाइनली वो जाएगी कहाँ। या तो वो सॉइल में दबाई जाएगी, या वो जलाई जाएगी, या वो पानी में फेंकी जाएगी। और तीनों ही तरीकों से लैंड, तीनों ही तरीकों से वाटर और एयर पोल्यूशन हम करने वाले हैं। So this has to stop, and there are so many other ways which can be carried out. हम अपने पुराने, once again मुझे लगता है after this pandemic हम सभी को अपने पिछले दिनों में चले जाना चाहिए। हमें 3 to 4 decades पीछे चले जाना चाहिए for the habits, और शायद हम कुछ हद
Yes,
तक चले भी गए हैं, क्योंकि हम अब अपने
for the
घरों में
habitats.
for the
Habitats or
healthy
habitats?
practices to come
To
back to
care
that.
and answer this
डेफिनेटली
species.
मुझे नहीं ध्यान है कि पहले घरों में थैलियां इतनी आम हुआ करती थी, कपड़ों के
Yeah,
थैले
yeah.
सिले जाते थे और इस्तेमाल किए जाते थे। तो व्हाई नॉट टुडे? हम क्यों नहीं, व्हाई कांट वी कम बैक टू द जूट बैग्स, व्हाई कांट वी कम बैक टू द क्लॉथ बैग्स? इट इज वेरी इजी, पर इनिशिएटिव हमको खुद को ही लेना होगा।
Madam, these
द गवर्नमेंट्स
domesticated
कैन नॉट
animals,
वर्क फॉर दैट।
excuse me, madam. Madam, these domesticated birds or animals, they are also sensitive to the weather conditions.
See, these, if we talk about the caged birds, then
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But if we are not talking about the caged birds, then no. If you are letting a bird come and stay in a natural environment in your house, I don't think there is any problem to that bird. And
The
caging
cats,
is
dogs,
definitely
these are not surviving properly.
Yes, about cats and dogs, let me tell you. The condition is this, that since they have been very overprotected in the house, if you leave them outside, yes, definitely they will have a problem in combating with the wild animals. That has always been a difference between the wild conditions and the lab conditions, the in vitro and the outside wild area. So definitely yes, there will be a difference. uh, and so probably I don't basically agree to the domestication part. uh, I've never, I mean, I would not suggest the idea of domesticating animals, because I don't think they should be confined in a particular area. They have the ability to live in the nature in very freely, and they have the ability to fight and survive in the nature. So why not let them do that?
Ma'am, we can say, actually, I can agree your thing. For the past 1 month or so, that we have been confined, or we have been domesticated by the government because of this
Yeah, so
lockdown.
so we
And
understand. Yes.
yes, we should now understand that how does it feel
Yes.
being domesticated. So, ma'am, there are some more things that I would like to add to whatever you said,
Yeah.
ma'am. Ma'am, we are aware about in the early 20s and 30s, ma'am, what had happened in China. I don't remember the decade when it happened, but yes, I think that what I remember is that once there was a mass murdering of sparrows in China, and
Yes.
how it resulted into famines, serial famines in China. Ma'am,
Mhm.
that is a big example that why biodiversity, as well as each and every, we can say, animal or each and every species needs to be treated with very. That is a great
Definitely.
example.
Yes.
So, and ma'am, there was a question regarding plastic.
Yeah.
So, I have some explanation why we have not been able to replace plastic. Because we are living into a fast lane today. What is actually happening is that we usually do not have time. We are very, very dependent upon so many things, and we fashion has become a part of our life. So, carrying a cloth bag for the youth of that day, it seems to be old-fashioned. And this is what I
Yeah.
have noticed personally. This is one point. And second point, ma'am, that has been abetting the use of plastic is, ma'am, plastic has one good thing, one good characteristics, that it lasts for a long time. That means it is very, very durable. This is one good characteristic that plastic has, and we need to, means identify it and acknowledge it. Now, what happens is, let us say we use bamboo, we use any fruit pulp, or we use any other biodegradable material for the manufacture of a bag that is an alternative of plastic. So what happens is, because of the cost involved, whatever we are doing today, whatever we are consuming today is based on economics. Everything has taken, economics has taken over each and everything. Now, why we are eating wheat flour? Because it is cheap. Why we are not eating rice flour in northern India? Why we are eating more of rice in south, not wheat? Why we are not eating maize flour? Why we are not eating oats? So these are all governed by the economics. Now what happens is, if any manufacturer starts manufacturing biodegradable material, which is an alternative to plastic, first of all, what happens is, the user, end user, that means public like you and me, they have apprehensions about, sir, I used to carry 5 kg load in this much big of bag. So is it possible? Will it not burst out? First apprehension. Second apprehension, it is too costly, man. The shopkeeper says. It is too costly. I used to get it 1 kg of plastic at 30 rupees. You are charging me 50 rupees. You are asking me for 80 rupees. This is what, and so for the shopkeeper, spending 50 extra rupees for something that has got no return on investment is a waste. Second, third thing is, let us say, for example, I manufacture a sheet or a material that is biodegradable. So what will happen is, if my stocks, if I'm not able to sell my stocks in time, in next around 2 to 3 years, let us say the shelf life of that particular material is 3 years. If I am not able to sell the material in time, on time, so it will automatically start to degrade it. So
Yeah.
by the time it ends to the shelf or into the pocket of the end customer or into the hands of the end customer, so it has already degraded. Now what happens is, if it is supposed to carry 2 kgs of load, it will not be able. So again, the user will have to resort to plastic. So means this is these are some of the practical things that we need to think about to find an alternative to plastic. So in a
Definitely.
nutshell, in a nutshell, ma'am, what I wanted to convey is that there is a lot of economics involved as well, apart from science. A lot of commerce and economics also involved. So that is why we are not able to reduce the use of plastic, despite our all the best efforts.
Yes.
Hello, hello, madam. Hello,
Right?
hello,
Yes, sir.
Hello.
You are audible. Please speak.
hello, hello,
Sir, what about crocodiles and alligators?
hello,
Yes, sir.
Hello.
hello,
Madam,
madam.
what
You
about
are audible.
crocodile?
Hello,
You are audible, sir.
hello,
Yes,
sir.
yes. What about crocodiles and alligators?
Hello,
So the question is not clear. The crocodiles. Uh,
And alligators.
I'm sorry, Utkarshji, can you please repeat the question? I
It's
mean,
a kind of
all these.
crocodile. The number of crocodiles are gradually reducing.
Yeah.
Yeah. In our
So,
Mahanadi Delta, the number of crocodiles was quite high. But now these are not available and these are reduced. What's happening
so
to these crocodiles and
yeah.
alligators,
So
madam?
the crocodiles have
Sir, do you mean
actually.
crocodiles and alligators?
Yeah, yeah, alligators, sir. Alligators.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what I was
Sorry.
trying to understand.
Alligators. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, excuse me.
hello,
Yeah, madam, what about crocodiles?
Yeah. So you're talking about crocodiles and alligators
And
actually.
alligators, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, sir, actually, the extinction, it is not exactly that they are extincting, yes, but definitely there is a loss in the forest area. And in the forest area, the crocodiles are actually living in the wetlands. So the wetlands are a very particular type of area, which is a marshy kind of a place. And so the problem is that since the deforestation is leading to a loss in the forest, and therefore the swamps and the marshes and the wetlands are gradually reducing. So once they get reduced, definitely there is nothing. There are no fishes. There are no small. The water animals are not there, and if they are not there, then definitely the top the consumer on the top will, how will it survive? So the problem is once again the reason of the crocodile, not, I must not say extinction, but the reason of the reduction in the crocodiles is due to the reduction in the swampy and the marshy and the wetland areas.
very well. So he has reduced the areas which were earlier restriction, means wetlands. So the natural
Yeah.
habitat of crocodiles is gone. So
Yes.
these crocodiles you will find only in those areas where they are able to roam around freely and they have a particular type of environment. So you still have crocodiles, but the and because of the limitations of the environment, you will not be able to find them around the cities.
And sir, one more thing, that the poaching and trafficking is also very important reason of it. The skin of the crocodile is used for the leather of the crocodile is very, very expensive, and it is used by few very rich people for their wallets and for a lot of other stuff. So crocodiles are being hunted and poached also a lot.
And
Secondly, the
ma'am,
habitat
there is a
is the
question.
reason.
Hello,
Yeah.
hello, hello,
Yes, sir.
madam.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Sir, please
Yes, sir.
proceed.
You're audible. Tell me, sir. So you can type if you're not able to convey.
But is not able to get answer to his query, they can leave their question in WhatsApp group. They will be answered again. So, ma'am, there is a question from let me get the name,
Yeah.
Dr. Umarani, and she asked how to increase the speedy awareness of, I mean, the humans in the world about sustainability of ecosystem to each and every person.
Uh, yes, it is a very it would have a very wide answer, range of answer. Speedily giving the awareness is probably we should start at home. Let me tell you what I personally feel is. See, now in every school there is a very special subject environment which is being taught. Now in colleges also, UG, the undergraduate classes also, they have a compulsory environmental biology class to be held, and they have to give and pass the exam. But that is not enough. Let me tell you, if you put something very aggressively on someone that you should do this, you have to do this, or maybe through the curriculum, probably things will not happen. So I think it should start from home. The children of any home are they always imitate their elders. So let me tell you that parents, they actually, the children, they always reflect what their parents are. So it is very important to actually create a social awareness, and social awareness will actually peep inside the homes. And if I and you are doing it, probably everyone in the house will understand the importance of this, and they will try to follow the practices. Like for example, if I am always carrying a jute bag along whenever I'm going to buy something, if someday I tend to forget, my children would ask me that where is your bag. So then it has already made a difference. So this is how it has to spread, and a very speedy awareness can only be done through us. What I say is, in today's webinar, even if 100 of us are sitting together and talking and listening to this, and if we 100 only start doing it, then let me tell you, the moment we 100 start, it's automatically 500, and then it can go on. So the best way is to start doing it yourself, and once you do it, I'm sure 20 more people will start doing it with you, or at least they will think on this, that we should be doing it. And someday they will start doing it. So this is how it can spread.
to create an awareness about this with society or schools?
Utkarshi, was there a question again?
Yes, ma'am. What is the best way to create an awareness about this with society or schools?
I think that it should be okay. You're talking about the ways to do it, or is it between schools and society?
Ma'am, what is the best way, ma'am, ways to create an awareness about this within the society as well as the schools, ma'am?
Sir, that's what I'm saying. The sustainable development, the sustainable practices have to be followed in terms of reusing and recycling and minimizing the use. Probably these three things, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle. Probably the three R's are the answer to all the ways by which we can create a sustainable environment.
There's a question from Mr. Abhishek Naik,
Yeah.
and he asked about the causes of extinction of eagles, bats, pangolin, and vultures. So, ma'am, there is something that Mr. Vishwajit Mohapatra has written about it.
Yeah.
He says that due to the impact of the use of diclofenac among wounded cows, buffaloes, as well as the inhabitants of the different villages, vultures, and especially the female ones, they became sterile. And this is as per means this citation as per one of the research.
Yeah. So this is actually happening due to a phenomena which is known as bioaccumulation in the food chain. So there are two things. One is bioaccumulation and the other is biomagnification. So let me just throw a little light on both of these topics. Bioaccumulation means if we are using any kind of drug or any kind of chemical in the environment. Now, the environment, it can be in soil, it can be in water, it can be in air. If any of this chemical enters the soil, water, or air, it automatically enters one of the levels of the food chain. Now, once, like for example, if Mr. Mohapatra is telling me that diclofenac is used to for the wounded cows. Now, once the cow has been given this particular chemical, this cow, when it will die, it will be degraded, and now it will be fed by the vultures. So vultures will automatically eat the remains of these animals. And this diclofenac, which was actually injected in the cows or the buffaloes, after dying, when whatever animal or bird or whosoever in the food chain is consuming that will automatically attain diclofenac. They were never given the diclofenac. And whenever any chemical passes from one level of a food chain to the other, it actually increases. Why? Because it is not only going through that particular consumed animal, but it is also going through air, it is also going through water, it is also going through soil. So automatically the level of this particular chemical increases. So that is also one of the reasons why few of the high carnivores, which is like on the third or the fourth level carnivores, the levels of the food chain, they are being extinct due to certain problem of bioaccumulation in the lower levels of the food chain. So this is very true. And that is also one of the reasons of extinction of vultures and eagles, because they're eating something, they're consuming something which has already been polluted, or maybe which has already been poisoned to a certain level by some chemical, so which is creating some problems in their fertility part and so on.
Ma'am, there was a question about this sudden disappearance of crocodile.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that we have found which has led to the is degradation of, or we can say, reducing the number of crocodiles, apart from the decrease in the habitat.
So apart from decrease in the habitat, definitely food chain. Once again, let me tell you the it as we have talked about the diclofenac, definitely certain chemicals which have been which are the pollutants which are being released into the water bodies. Finally they seep inside and they enter to a places where these animals are living. Now if the fishes they are taking up these chemicals, then these fishes are actually eaten by these crocodiles, and so on. The bioaccumulation is also one of the of certain substances is also one of the reasons. And one more reason that I shared was that a lot of poaching and trafficking of crocodiles is happening. So even if we have a good amount of crocodiles, maybe in some good river like Ganga and Yamuna, even if we have, but these are hunted, and that is also one of the reasons. So first of all is the habitat destruction. Even if the habitat is intact, then pollution, the water pollution, is one of the reasons where the bioaccumulation and magnification of certain chemical substances are leading to some problems in the crocodiles, due to which either they die or they are not able to reproduce and things like that. And definitely hunting and poaching due to the trade, the bio trade, is also one of the reasons.
Thank you, ma'am, for the
Thank you, madam.
the lecture
Yes.
that you have provided us. Ma'am, we have among us one of our resource persons. I would request whether she would like to have some views, please. She would like to share some of her views about whatever we have learned today. So
Yes.
over to Dr. Indo-Nepalese. So over to Dr. Indu Bansal, ma'am, now. I think there is some problem with her connection as of now. So I would now request our founder for all the participants. I'm so sorry, everyone, that because of connectivity issues that Dr. Indu Bansal ma'am currently facing, she is unable to address the session. So, may I request our founder, Mr. R.K. Singh ji, to come forward and provide a vote of thanks to each and every participant, as well as the
I thank you all the participants, especially Mr. Ragi, Dr.
Thank you,
Jyotsna,
ma'am.
Sharma, Jain, and all participants, especially Sharad Mahapatra ji, for conducting a nice conference which is very useful for all of us. I thank you all for remaining with the Saksham Society. Thanks a lot.
So, with this, we would like to conclude this session for the day, and we will rejoin tomorrow, same day, sorry, same time, same page, and the same login details. So the details, just like today, that you have received all the email, you will receive the email tomorrow also, and these will be the same each and every these next 2 days also. So any person or any of the members of the group, they have any of the things or any queries to their mind, or any queries that were left, unanswered, they can keep them created. We will try to answer queries within the group itself. And if we are not able to answer these, we will also try to take these queries in the next session, and we will try to answer these within the group. So thank you everyone for joining us, for recognizing us, and tomorrow we will be coming back, and we will be meeting with each other online the same way that we have. I'm closing this meeting. So thank you each and everybody for your time and patience.